everybody, and welcome back to Raising the Paws. Today we are going to start a sourdough. This will be for your sourdough starter to use in recipes that call for sourdough. I've had a few people ask for me to do a video about getting it started because it can be intimidating. I know that when I first got started, I was very intimidated by the thought of even baking bread. But now I have kind of learned through many trial and error how to work with sourdough. I will show you mine. Mine actually needs to be fed today, so I'll do that on camera. But I'm going to show you how to get started. My guest today is Lily. Lily, say hello.
Hello.
This is what my sourdough is looking like right now. I usually keep it in a wide mouth mason jar, and I try to feed it every day to a couple of days. You can usually tell with it when it needs to be fed because it will start to get liquid that forms above the sourdough, and that is okay. That does not mean that your sourdough is bad. It just actually is telling you that it's hungry and it's time to feed. So what you will do is pour off some of the sourdough, which would be your discard, and you would use that in a lot of recipes.
So we're gonna be making sourdough, so let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Okay, we will talk more about the maintenance of your sourdough in 1 minute, but first I'm going to show you how to get started. You can use a glass jar. Actually, you can use anything. I just have this one on hand. I like a wide rim so that it's easier to kind of feed and stir. I'm using bread flour today, but I think it's recommended whole wheat flour is really good for starting. Spoon some of it into this. So we are going to start off with half a cup of flour. We're going to do half a cup of flour into our jar. And then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of warm water right in with your flour. Now, I like to use a wooden spoon, I have the perfect size right here, to mix this up. Yes, Lily, could you mix for me, please? Yep. What happens when it sits, Lily?
It'll rise.
It does rise, and that's because it's taking on,
You have to put a paper towel over it.
it's fermenting when it sits. So does it need a little bit more water? Let's look at the consistency.
Yeah, let's more.
Let's see, let's mix it all up. Gotta scrape the bottom and get all that flour in.
Do you recall when we were young, running from all things at once, without thinking twice? And I knew.
Looking at this, I feel like it needs a little bit more water added to the jar because it's a little bit too dry. I want to show you up close. See, it's a little bit too dry, and so I want to, you can see the way mine is. Mine is actually needing to be fed. It's a little bit too runny. Okay, so I'm just going to add just a little bit more water.
Not much because it'll make it watery.
Too liquidy. I want to just kind of have it a little bit more of a liquidy consistency. This is kind of what I'm looking for.
Time is gone and I grew up and somehow made it through without losing sight. And I still wonder where you are and if you found a way out.
You're going to let this sit out at room temperature for 24 hours. Loosely put your lid on. You can actually cover it in plastic wrap or wax paper, but I prefer just to have my lid kind of on there loosely and just sit it over out of the way for the next 24 hours. And then you are going to want to discard and feed again. You do not want to do straight cold water. So you just continue feeding it, and over the next week, you will really start to smell the sour smell in it. That's what you're looking for. Sometimes
It smells too sour and you can't.
Sometimes when I'm working with my sourdough or I have the lid off, the kids come into the kitchen, they're like, ew, what's that smell? But they've kind of gotten used to it now. But you're looking for that really sour smell. So that's good. But right now I'm going to show you how I discard and how I feed my current sourdough. That's all I'm going to do. Just discard a little, and then I'm going